Gold FM is #1 here in Sigatoka.
Gold FM is our favorite radio station here in Lautoka.
Gold FM is #1 in Nel.
I love listening to Gold FM in Ba.
We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits here in Suva.
Hear about butter cola, you immediately think of gold. I'm Josephine Sabi and I love hearing Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Tonight, fishing boat catches fire in Suva Harbour. Permanent Secretary signed performance agreements, and Indigenous businesses ask for friendly policies. First tonight, a fishing vessel berthed in the Suva Harbour is on fire. Smoke was seen on the vessel SK7DTAM5 at about 5 o'clock this afternoon, and the fire quickly engulfed the midsection of the ship. No one was seen on board the ship, which is anchored just opposite the Suva Civic Centre. Other vessels berthed nearby have also moved away from the area. A tugboat with a fire hose did attend to the fire. More permanent secretaries have signed performance agreements with the Public Service Commission today, a requirement under their contracts. Mikalonga reports the new agreements guarantee their jobs only until October, but the benefits of working harder are being welcomed by the permanent secretaries.
The new job agreements are based on the Permanent Secretary's corporate plans for 2014.
The Permanent Secretary commits through this signing the implementation of that corporate plan involving management of human resources, the finance management reporting, as well as the area of capital projects implementation.
There were some adjustments made within government to see that we start positioning ourselves to attract the skills that are needed in government for the PS position.
The performance agreement has a comprehensive assessment framework of each permanent secretary. Their work will now be closely monitored and evaluated by the Public Service Commission. Government ministers will now have the liberty to assess their own PS.
There is a lot more scrutiny in this because more accountability on performance, compliance and reporting.
We expect them to provide all the things that is necessary through the corporate plan and work with it so that by the end of the year they should be able to achieve the targets that they were supposed to achieve.
The performance agreement also gives permanent secretaries more responsibilities and salaries, which they describe as a positive process towards an effective public service.
It is really a way of getting it very effective because they will be then followed up after this by the staff of the public service.
It boils down to what the ordinary men and women on the street gets out of all this.
Given the salaries now, I think it will attract more interest from parties that probably hesitated to come and serve during this period.
19 permanent secretaries have signed their contracts with only 3 remaining. Mikalonga, FBC News.
There's been a huge drop in Indigenous-owned businesses since 2006. The Fiji Indigenous Business Council Forum this morning highlighted the lack of business skills in a highly competitive market and a lack of private sector confidence as reasons for the dip. Ritika Pratap has more.
The Fiji Indigenous Business Council now has only 35 members compared to 136 in 2006. President Ulai Tawe blames the council for its undoing, but also claims a lack of government support has led to some businesses shutting down.
We still constitute less than 2% of the mainstream businesses operating in Fiji and see the next 5 years as a challenge if we are to make greater impact and meaningful contribution to our nation and to our people.
Tawe says future government policies must promote more entrepreneurship within the indigenous people.
The Bainimarama government has made very little or no efforts to address this matter. We believe it is high time we come to terms with these anomalies and create a long-lasting solution. FIBC believes It must be the priority of the new government to develop appropriate policies which are permanent and sustainable.
Assisting large consolidated companies or consortium of companies like Fijian Holdings, or do you also provide support to individual entrepreneurs, whether it's Ben's Trading, whether it's Cakes 2000? And I think that's something that FIBC needs to look at in terms of its role in providing support.
Minister for Commerce Aya Sayed Kayum highlighted that all businesses already benefit from the substantial government incentives.
Corporate tax has been reduced from 33% to 20%. If you list in the South Pacific Stock Exchange, which Fijian Holdings is listed, they now pay 10% corporate tax rate. Very, very significantly low. We have also, for example, increased the tax threshold. So small to medium enterprises, if they make less than 500,000 K a year, they don't pay any taxes. Similarly with VAT returns, they don't have to do that if it's less than $500,000. We have a national export strategy where we in fact give grants to businesses now. So it's targeted approach in terms of providing assistance, and there's a very clear and transparent process regarding that.
Keynote speaker Sir Bogan Nagora says FIBC members, while running their business, also need to work on their lobbying skills to get government attention. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
The Fiji police force has warned mariners to take precautions at all times and not take situations for granted. A recent rescue operation involved 5 people who left Verata Udhinevanua Tailevu in a fiberglass boat on their way to Moturiki in the Lomaiviti group. Initial reports indicate the boat was overloaded and took on water when in rough seas. The 5 were found by a passing vessel clinging onto the overturned hull. Police spokesperson Ananai Soro says considering the dangers involved, people must always weigh the pros and cons of undertaking any water-related activity. Coming up, Nambora Ginger Farm, big hit with local suppliers.
Mbula FM rek tale taki
Golnga elambasa Mbula FM number 2 na sere
Ando tale tak na borong na Mbula FM number 2 na sere su
Kau vai tu garaki au reba tu ni stima au ando tale tak na borong na Mbula
Bola bina Fiji Mbula FM number 2 senga toka
Bola bina era roga Mbula FM number 2 tikonga
Mbula FM number 2 na sere
Welcome back. This is FBC News. The Rewa Provincial Council meeting got underway today, opened by High Chief Rokotuin Reketi Rotemumu Kepa. Rotemumu says it's important the church and Vanua be given priority for the benefit of future generations. She also told the meeting it's her duty to remind her people not to make decisions that will be regretted later in life.
Last year, we celebrated the 375th anniversary of the arrival of the Methodist Church in Fiji. When the church arrived on our shores, the Vanua was already here. Once the church and the Vanua were established, then the state came in.
Well, I just want to thank the Marambal and the Rockindicate for taking us back, because development can't work in isolation. It needs the support of the Vanua, it needs the support of the church. Once that is the foundation is laid out fine, then definitely development programs shouldn't be of any problem in its implementation.
The 2-day meet discusses education and development issues in the province and ways to seek government's help. Police commissioners from the Melanesian Spearhead Group have agreed to new initiatives aimed at strengthening police cooperation in the region. Their cooperative stand was made at the conclusion of the MSG Police Commissioners Conference in Nandi yesterday. Akusita Tale reports that progression of the formed police unit was top of their list.
A policy adopted by the United Nations to provide security to all personnel during peacekeeping missions through a formed police unit has encouraged the MSG police to make this their #1 priority.
It's a huge demand for this formed police unit that we want to establish and be recognized in the UN as provider for formed police unit in any of the UN peacekeeping missions abroad.
Another significant milestone was the endorsement to pursue bilateral arrangements in capacity building, information sharing and human resources. The Fiji Police Force and the Royal Solomon Islands are finalizing their bilateral arrangements, and sideline talks were also held with Papua New Guinea to draw up similar arrangements.
Further talks has to be carried out before any physical action is carried out on the ground. But it is incumbent on the receiving state. Fiji is always prepared to help our counterparts.
Meanwhile, progress has also been made in recognizing the contribution of female officers across the region.
We say that the diversity in policing also includes the women in leadership in the Fiji Police Force and in the MSG region. So we are serious about that matter.
The Commissioners' Conference also agreed to set up an MSG Sports Subcommittee to look into the details of the police games schedule for 2015. The next Police Commissioners' Conference will be held in the Solomon Islands. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
The government is determined to solve a problem that has plagued the public service industry for 40 years. Speaking at the Fiji Van and Carry Operators Association annual general meeting in Nandi, Attorney General Aisaid Qayyum said every Fijian should have a decent living. Akusita Tale reports.
The government has been making a great effort to talk with public service vehicle owners and drivers about following the right processes and understanding the law. They feel this will ensure the economy stays strong and confident.
We need to ensure that everything is lined up. If there are more tourists coming in, if there's more demand for it, we don't want you to be fighting with each other. We don't want you to be fighting with the minibus guy. We don't want you to be fighting for the taxi driver. Everybody knows where their rules are, what applies to who. And I think all of you would like that.
Van and carrier operators have been urged to be more honest and transparent in how they run their business.
Everybody must follow the same rules. And for economy to be strong, the people who are going to give you the permit, they must apply the rules in the same way to everybody. And that's what creates confidence.
Syed Qayyum also encouraged the members to work with the government and see to it that everyone receives fair share.
We want to ensure that all of you have a good source of living, that your processes, that everybody knows what the rules are. If you go to Singapore, everybody knows what the rules are. Right? Nobody thinks, oh, I don't know what happened today. We don't want that situation.
Representatives of municipal councils were at the meeting and spoke about operations within their towns. More than 150 members of the Fiji Van and Carry Operators Association attended today's AGM. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
Inmates planting ginger at the Nambora Corrections Facility will soon be reaping their reward. The project that's being active for 5 months is earning inmates a modest income and contributing to their rehabilitation as well. Savaira Tamboa has more.
It's a milestone for these inmates at the Nambora Minimum Corrections Center, harvesting ginger after months of working on the farm. Freshpack in Lami has already bought 5 tons of ginger worth $5,000.
It's rehabilitation-wise. It's a form of reform for them. Once they are out from discharge from prison, they can go and have ownership of themselves outside in trying to develop resources like land.
That's not all. Demand is so high. Inmates need to harvest another 25 tons to fulfill market needs. They are excited to be given this opportunity to new skills and make an honest living. Some have decided to go into ginger farming once they've served their time.
I am planning to start ginger farming when I come out of prison.
2 companies that are eager to buy this ginger are Freshpack in Lami and Yunus at Laudala Beach. They are buying 20 and 30 tons respectively at 90 cents a kg. The prisoners' income of $2 a day will be paid out once they are released from prison. Savera Tamboa, FBC News.
A nationwide health walk will be held a Saturday week to help in the fight against NCDs. The Move for Health Westpac morning walk will target as many Fijians as possible, encouraging increased physical activity. Theme for the walk is Brisket or Risk It.
Physical activity is very important, and our step survey by WHO, the second step survey undertaken, shows that we are at substantial and increased risk of dying of non-communicable diseases such as heart disease, strokes, cancer. stress, and these are problems which we need to address.
The walk is in conjunction with Westpac and the Fiji Sports Commission. Sports now, and Jamie, what's the latest?
Good evening. In sports tonight, the Fiji Sevens side did not get the warmest of welcomes when they arrived in Tokyo. In fact, they received quite the opposite. And Telecom Fiji Warriors wallop Junior Japan, but a place in the final is still not certain. Details coming up.
Ito singata kondo talita na barong na Radio Fijuan na station galmotua.
Ako na koro ko na talita. Mandaw talita kini na barong Radio Fijuan.
Kitongo isu untuk talita na barong na Radio Fijuan na station galmotua.
Keto talita na Radio Fijuan. Na Radio Fijuan endo talita kita nga Sikoka.
Station in Machino Pinatia na Radio Fijuan. Kokokan Beyanyan.
Na Radio Fijuan nandumoy bitin bonga ni BNN.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. The Vodafone Fiji 7 side is slowly getting used to Japan's windy capital as they prepare for the Tokyo Sevens this weekend. They were met with snow when they arrived on Monday night, so the weather on game day could factor into their performance. Chalenda Dakadaka has more.
The national sevens side has been keeping busy shaking off the jet lag and cold weather in Tokyo with some hard training sessions. The side had a scrimmaging session against England with the focus on winning the kickoffs.
Well, notoriously, Tokyo has been the windiest tournament on the circuit, you know, and in training yesterday that was no different. It was a windy tournament. It was hard training session against England. It was hard to control the kickoffs for both teams. So if it's not a windy day, I think it's a good surface, and the kickers and catchers have been practicing well. So we should be very competitive in that area.
Ryan is concerned about the hours the team is spending on the road, getting to and from their training venue.
It's a long journey to every training session because we're in the middle of the city and we have to drive outside the city to train. So, for example, yesterday after England training session, it took 2 hours to drive home. So that can tire you out if you're doing 3 or 4 hours travelling a day.
Despite this, Ryan says the team is in good spirits and will be able to perform at their best on Saturday. Chalendo Dakadak, FBC Sports.
The Telecom Fiji Warriors 99-13 walloping over Junior Japan in the Pacific Rugby Cup in Australia yesterday may be short-lived. The win brings the side to the top of the points table with 11 points, a shared lead with Reds A, who are also on 11 points. However, due to a technicality, Reds A might be the team to progress to the final instead of the Warriors.
Because we lost to the Reds earlier, the chances are we will not be playing the finals, but for the second and third. But the manual says that if there's a draw at the end of the day, the team that loses in the pool game, that we lost to Reds and we've drawn with Reds, Reds go up. That's what the manual says.
It's still a grey area with the Reds A side also losing a pool match. Fiji currently has a better points average, and now it's left with the organisers to confirm who progresses to the final against Argentina Pampers and who will take on Samoa in the third and fourth playoff. The Fiji Table Tennis Association has selected a coach from Egypt to take them to another level. Mohamed Garib, the former coach of the Egyptian team, was selected from 15 applicants from around the world. Garib will join the national side in Melbourne on the 15th of next month at the International Table Tennis Federation Oceania Championships. That's it from Sports Tonight. Good evening.
The ANZ Bank has launched its e-banking services called ANZ Transactive. The internet service was launched by Finance Ministry Permanent Secretary Filimoni Wangabava, who says using the feature saves time and money. Payments, money transfers and other financial responsibilities under the Consolidated Fund account will now be conducted by this e-banking service. The Finance Ministry can also obtain its account balances and transaction reports at the click of a button.
EFT for the Ministry was launched in 2011, and with this the Ministry would send via email to the banks encrypted files after which the banks would then transfer the funds to the various vendors' bank accounts. However, with this new mode, we will do the transfer of the funds directly into the vendor bank accounts from the comfort of our office.
ANZ's internet banking transacts an average of $15.4 million every month. Weather time now, and I see you're in blue today, Jen. A sign of what's to come?
Yes, it is, Jackie, but we'll get to that in a second. Rain was forecast for today, but it turned out to be a really cloudy Wednesday for most of us. And if you're wondering why it's usually warm on a cloudy day, that's because clouds are relatively closer to the surface of the Earth and acts as a blanket. This is to trap the heat that the Earth has close to the surface. So without the clouds, the heat rises and mixes with the very cold air of the atmosphere. And the warm temperatures were evident this afternoon. Lambasa was the warmest on 33, Nandi, Lautoka and Ba were on 32, and our coolest was 30 degrees in Suva and Savu-Savu. We've got another forecast for showers tomorrow. A strong wind warning remains in force for Lau and southwest VT level waters, Korosi, Kandavu and Vatura passages. And pick of the day, mangroves. Important for the protection of our coastal areas. We've decided to feature a photo of them this evening. Am I blocking it? And this is from Sylvia Sivan. And for everyone else, keep sending in those photos to citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj.
Thanks so much for that, Genevieve. Recapping the headlines, a fishing boat catches fire in Suva Harbour, permanent secretaries sign performance agreements, and Indigenous businesses ask for friendly policies. On to our poll question for this week, we're asking, should Fiji rejoin the Commonwealth if given the chance? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's FBC News for tonight. I'll see you again tomorrow. Nimo demanda.
It's always Gold FM for us at Golden Point, Raki Raki.
Gold FM is #1 in Lusaka.
Gold FM is Nandi's best radio station.
It's always Gold FM with us here in Singatoka.
Old is gold and Gold FM is #1 here in Lautoka.
Singatoka loves classic hits on Gold FM.
We listen to Gold FM here in Tagua.
We love Gold FM in Ba.
We've got beautiful beaches, people, and Gold FM in Raki Raki.
Lautoka loves the classic hits on Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.